depression first hit me, I had no idea what it was. I felt like I was walking in molasses. Every move that I made, it took great effort. And I was scared to tell anybody, but people started noticing because my personality changed. I was in so much pain from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet. I felt like the only way out was to take my own life. I reached out to a hero, and that's why I tell everybody. Everybody needs to be like Aunt Spanky. Everybody needs to have an Aunt Spanky. Her real name is Kelly, but we have nicknames. So I called her, and I said, you can have my shoes. That's all I remember. Thank God she picked up on those signs. She called me back. She said, are you gonna kill yourself? I said, yes. And she went into action like a superhero. She went up against my mother, my grandmother, and me to save my life. And that's what I always tell people. You have two choices. You can help us. And yeah, we might get mad at you, might not ever speak to you again, but we're alive to not do that. And eventually we'll get over it. Or you can do nothing, and you can risk the chance of going to a funeral and living with the why pain. And why I call it the why pain is, why didn't I help them? Why didn't I know those signs? I'm very grateful to be here. I never take it for granted that I'm here. And while I'm here, I'm gonna do as much as I can to help others who are in my shoes. Words can hurt and words can help. And so we got up these signs that said, I took it from my wristband that I wear every day. The wristband is the same color, the signs are the same color. And it simply says, the first three words had to be on my signs, you're not alone. Because when you're struggling with depression, anxiety, bipolar, whatever you're struggling with, you feel like you're by yourself, even though you know it's millions of other people. It says you're not alone, need help, call the National Suicide Hotline, 800-273-8255, or text help. So when we first got them up, they were just in the stairwell. So you'd only see them if you were coming up the stairs or the elevator, and then they were on both sides of the elevator. So unfortunately, they weren't that visible. And in December of 2020, a 17-year-old girl came up to that parking deck. She took off her shoes, she took off her glasses, and she laid down her cell phone and she jumped. When I found out, I was very upset because I'm like, man, we gotta make these signs bigger and more visible. I said, I want them to go all the way around the perimeter. I want them to be at the bottom. I want them to be standing out. We've had no suicides in that parking deck in over 2 years. And I know it's because of those signs. I have 10 parking decks, and I just got my 11th parking deck in Mecklenburg County up. They put 115 signs up in the Mecklenburg County parking deck. So the bill came about when a state senator in Massachusetts saw my story in the Boston Herald, and he wanted it to become law. So he wrote the bill first. And I reached out to Representative Carla Cunningham, who is a big mental health advocate, and Joyce Waddell, Senator Waddell, and I told him, I said, this needs to become a law because I know my signs are saving lives. So sure enough, she filed the bill in April of this year, and it's House Bill 858, the Fonda Bryant Suicide Prevention Signage Act. I couldn't believe she named that after me, but I'm very proud. But I'm not done. I'm planning on making this a national law. So some of the signs to look out for: something that a person found great pleasure in, now they're no longer interested in. Not eating, or eating too much. Sleeping, not sleeping enough. I just wanted to go to sleep. Giving away prized possessions. If somebody comes up and says, hey, I want you to have this, it doesn't have to be a value. It could be something you know that person truly, it's a sentimental thing and they want you to have it. You need to be willing to ask them, are you all right? Are you okay? Those are some of the signs that you need to look out for. And again, listen without being judgmental, and also know your resources. The more you know about resources and the more you're comfortable with asking that person. Suicide is not a warm and fuzzy subject. It's a very hard subject, but how are we going to stop it? Because it is the most preventable death of all deaths. So look out for those signs, be willing to listen, know your resources, and be willing to get that person help. We can get through it. I'm living proof.